Imagine this. You are sitting in one of your first ever science classes in your new school. It's your first year of middle school and everything is still new and very overwhelming. And then suddenly, there's this 2-meter tall guy filled with more energy than what you've ever seen before. Mr. Doran happily wanders around the class telling us about how he's so excited to teach us all about Newton's laws, different types of rocks, and the makeup of molecules. Even though I was only in his class for a year, there's one thing I'll never forget. Whenever anyone would ask him, "Mr. Doran, is this good enough?" asking about the quality of their work, Mr. Doran would always answer, "I don't know, is it? If you feel like you have to question it, then it's probably not." And yet, at the end of the year, what stuck with me most was not the way atoms are held together by chemical bonds or why earthquakes happen more frequently in certain countries, but rather that one sentence he always referred back to. And that wasn't something I learned from textbooks, but from truly listening. Not just to his words, but the way he carried himself and the way he engaged with us. His stories were never polished, and his messy metaphors and his stories were never polished, and his messy metaphors and his shirt stained by his last lunch were what really made him stand out of the crowd of pre-planned and one-sided content. My name is Lili, and just like many of my peers, I also tend to spend quite some time on my phone and especially on social media, where I like to listen to people's stories, what's going on in their life, look for inspiration, or the next steps I should take. Regarding everything, really. And that's when I started to question it. Why do we need to escape into some artificial world and tune out from the people around us when there are so many stories and life lessons if we would just listen? Perhaps the reason we try to look for solutions online is because of the way all these influencers' lives are summed up and portrayed in just a few minutes of content, which, let's face it, will always be much easier than to listen to the full story from the beginning. The created, edited, revised world of the internet just looks so polished and perfect all the time that naturally we would want our lives to look the same. I was looking at these people showcasing their perfect lives with 10 out of 10 scores, promotions, top-rated universities, and on top of everything, going to a gym at 5 in the morning. But what if, instead of scrolling, we listened, really listened, to the full, messy, unfiltered version of people's experiences as they unfold in real time? Rather than seeking information, guidance, and even setting unachievable goals and standards for ourselves, we should really take a look around us. Find someone and listen to their story from the beginning. One day, and then another. On their good days and not so good days. And if you're thinking, well, I don't know anyone who went to Harvard or goes to the gym every morning, perhaps look for a different type of success. Like someone who has been able to make their 40-year marriage work, or even leave it after a few years because their well-being was more important than their family's expectations. Or simply ended up doing their dream job. And most importantly, just be present and listen to even the smallest details that might seem trivial, yet still could be a very crucial part of the whole story. For example, I'm sure a lot of you live very complicated and busy lives, and it might seem hard to find some time for yourself and to do what you truly love, or just to live in the moment. Even though I'm only in 9th grade, I often feel the same way, being flooded with deadlines, after-school activities, and sports. After that, I spent hours and hours on YouTube trying to find the perfect solution to this issue, when I realized I was looking for it in all the wrong places this whole time. Imagine the time I could have saved browsing if I would have just gone to my Aunt Helga right away. Because in fact, she is not only a married woman, but she cooks, cleans, takes care of a vegetable garden and a bunch of different pets. And on top of everything, she's raising 3 little kids, all under the age of 7. So you can just imagine how stunned I was when I decided to turn off TikTok's constant successes to see how well she could manage this so-called chaos. Even when her to-do list was filled with things waiting for her, she was able to take a break and make some handmade Christmas ornaments or shape the bushes in her garden to resemble two bunnies holding hands as an Easter decoration. Her breaks were productive, not only because she's doing something she loves, but perhaps more importantly, she's being something she loves, a community builder. And she gets to share the joy of these simple crafts with the people who she loves the most. Okay, active listening is really one of the most important skills a person can have nowadays. This is because a lot of us listen to understand. This is because a lot of us listen to reply and not listen to actually understand. If we just take the time to listen, really listen, imagine how much more meaningful and colorful our lives could become. Whether we like it or not, most of us are quick to judge. And even when the other person hasn't fully communicated their ideas yet, we are already thinking to agree, disagree, offer some advice, or even one-up them. According to Harvard Business Review, one of the most important skills a person can have nowadays. According to Harvard Business Review, those who engage in active listening are seen as more competent, likable, and trustworthy by others. Bringing back that often long-lost childhood curiosity can so easily benefit our surroundings and the people around us, everyone really. So try listening, not just with your ears, but with your full presence. And instead of looking online for these partial answers, start looking for the whole story in real life, since there are millions around us just waiting to be seen, heard, and told. Thank you.